Imagine a magnificent ship, strong, well-built, and equipped with a skilled crew. But without a captain, it drifts aimlessly, at the mercy of the waves. Life is no different. Without control over our own direction, we become lost in the currents of circumstance. Today, let's uncover the art of self-mastery, the power to navigate through life's uncertainties with purpose and resilience. Picture yourself at a turning point. One path leads to hesitation, excuses, and inaction. The other, discipline, courage, and forward motion. But hesitation is a cunning thief, isn't it? It steals time, dulls ambition, and leaves behind regret. So, how do we break free from its grip? Join me as we dive into 10 powerful Stoic lessons, time-tested principles that will help you take command of your life, rise above obstacles, and chart your own course toward greatness. Let's set sail together. 1. Are you procrastinating your life? Self-discipline is the silent architect of success, shaping our habits, choices, and ultimately our destiny. Yet, two formidable adversaries stand in its way: procrastination and laziness. These enemies don't announce themselves loudly. They creep in quietly, disguising themselves as harmless comforts and convincing us that delaying action just once won't matter. But does it ever stop at just once? Every decision we make in those quiet moments, whether to act or to delay, builds the foundation of our character. The Stoics believed that discipline isn't about grand gestures, but about the small, seemingly insignificant choices we make every single day. And when we repeatedly choose comfort over effort, we don't just lose time, we lose trust in ourselves. Think about the last time you made a commitment to yourself. Maybe it was waking up early to exercise, learning a new skill, or dedicating time to a meaningful project. At first, you were determined. But then, the temptation of comfort set in. The warmth of your bed seemed irresistible, social media offered a quick escape, and suddenly, "I'll do it tomorrow," became an easy excuse. But here's the harsh truth. Tomorrow never really comes unless you make it happen. If you keep postponing your goals, how can you ever expect to grow? Each time you give in to procrastination, you reinforce a habit of avoidance. But each time you choose to act, no matter how small the effort, you strengthen your discipline. The difference between success and stagnation isn't intelligence or luck. It's the ability to take action even when you don't feel like it. Consider a common story from modern life. A young man buys a guitar, eager to learn. He watches tutorials, gathers resources, and sets a goal to practice daily. But each day something gets in the way: work, social commitments, or just the thought that he's too tired to start. Weeks pass, then months, and the guitar collects dust in the corner of his room. Sound familiar? Now contrast this with another person who, despite the same challenges, decides to play for just 10 minutes a day. At first, progress is slow, but gradually chords become melodies, and what was once difficult turns into an effortless habit. The difference between these two isn't talent or time, it's action. Which one do you want to be? The secret to overcoming procrastination isn't waiting for motivation, it's building momentum. Motivation fades, but discipline sustains. The first step is the hardest, but once taken, it creates a ripple effect. Read for 5 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone. Choose a home-cooked meal over junk food. Do one push-up instead of skipping a workout entirely. These small wins compound over time, shaping a version of yourself that no longer relies on fleeting motivation, but on consistent effort. And the best part? The pain of discipline today is always less than the regret of tomorrow. At the end of the day, the question is simple. Are you in control of your actions, or are you letting procrastination control you? The answer isn't in what you plan to do, but in what you choose to do right now. Take the first step, no matter how small, because every time you act, you send a message to yourself that you are in charge of your life, not the other way around. 2. Why must you act now? Life is not shaped by what we intend to do, but by what we actually do. The power of will and action is not just about movement, it's about purposeful decisions that define our future. Too often, hesitation traps us in a cycle of delay, convincing us that tomorrow will be a better time to start. But how many dreams have been lost to the illusion of tomorrow? As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This truth reminds us that action begins from within. It is not external circumstances that hold us back, but our own resistance to stepping forward. Every day we face a choice, to act or to wait, to take control or to let life happen to us. And in those moments of indecision, the difference between success and stagnation is made. Think about someone who keeps postponing a personal goal, maybe learning a new language, improving their health, or starting a business. At first, the delay seems harmless. But as days turn into months, the goal drifts further away, and what was once a simple challenge becomes an overwhelming burden. The mind, left unchecked, turns hesitation into a habit, making even the smallest steps feel impossible. Consider a person who realizes this and makes a decision, just a small one. Instead of promising to run a marathon, they commit to walking for 15 minutes each day. The first few days are difficult, motivation is low, and comfort calls them back. But they persist. Eventually, walking becomes a habit, leading to running, improved health, and newfound confidence. This is the power of action. A single step can set off a ripple effect that transforms an entire life. The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of all things, that every action contributes to the greater whole. This means that every effort, no matter how small, carries significance beyond what we can immediately see. But potential alone is meaningless without execution. The knowledge we gain, the skills we develop, the ideas we have, none of them matter if we never apply them. Success is not a result of talent or luck, but of consistent, deliberate effort. And yet, action is rarely comfortable. Growth demands discomfort, persistence, and a willingness to face difficulty head-on. Think of a sculptor shaping a masterpiece from stone. Each strike of the chisel feels repetitive and laborious, but with every movement, something extraordinary takes form. More than anything, taking action is an acknowledgement of life's brevity. Every moment spent in hesitation is time we will never get back. This is why willpower and action are not just about achieving goals, they are about honoring the time we have. When faced with hesitation, remember that even the smallest step forward can shift the course of your life. As Seneca profoundly stated, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. So waste no more. Choose action. In doing so, you choose progress, growth, and ultimately, the life you truly want to live." 3. Self-discipline, the key to opening the door to success. Self-discipline is the foundation upon which all growth is built, the invisible force that separates those who simply wish from those who achieve. It is not about grand gestures, but about the small, consistent choices we make daily. Waking up 10 minutes earlier, choosing a book over mindless scrolling, resisting an unnecessary indulgence. These seemingly insignificant actions shape the trajectory of our lives. Every moment of discipline strengthens the foundation of success, while every indulgence, every excuse, creates small cracks that weaken it. The Stoics understood this well. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom is not doing whatever you want, but having the power to do what is necessary even when you don't feel like it. Consider the story of Angela Duckworth, a renowned psychologist and author of Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. She was not the most gifted student in her class, nor the most naturally talented, but she possessed something far more powerful: unwavering discipline. No matter how busy or tired she was, she committed to reading a chapter of a book each day, taking thoughtful notes, and challenging herself to think critically. At first, this routine seemed insignificant, but over time it became an unshakable habit, propelling her through academic challenges and shaping her into a leader in her field. Her success was not built on flashes of inspiration, but on small daily acts of perseverance. And isn't that the truth for all of us? We often wait for motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what carries us through when inspiration fades. Look at any area of life: fitness, finances, personal growth, and you'll see that real progress is made not through occasional bursts of effort, but through steady, disciplined action. A person who saves a small amount each month, even when tempted to spend, will eventually build financial security. Someone who writes a single sentence a day will one day complete a book. Growth does not come from massive, unsustainable efforts, but from the ability to show up day after day, regardless of obstacles. But here's the key: knowledge alone is not enough. How many people read about success but never apply what they learn? Learning must be paired with action. Discipline is not just about knowing what to do, it's about actually doing it, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching. Success is not a final destination, but an ongoing process. Discipline is the compass that keeps us moving forward through fear, doubt, and setbacks. And setbacks will come, but failure is not in making mistakes, it's in refusing to learn from them. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every disciplined action is a step toward mastery. So ask yourself, are you in control of your habits, or are your habits controlling you? Because in the end, self-discipline is not about restrictions, it is the ultimate form of self-respect. The choice is always yours. What will you choose today? 4. Good habits, the seeds of greatness. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom isn't about avoiding responsibilities or doing whatever feels good in the moment. It's about gaining control over your own actions, mastering your impulses, and shaping your life through intentional habits. Success is not a matter of luck or talent, but a direct result of the habits you cultivate every single day. And that journey begins with radical honesty, being completely truthful with yourself about where you are, what is holding you back, and what you need to change. The ego whispers comforting lies: "I'm doing fine, I'll start tomorrow," or "Things will work out eventually." But self-improvement doesn't happen through wishful thinking. It begins when you stop making excuses and start taking action. A person who refuses to acknowledge their flaws cannot grow. But someone who accepts their weaknesses and commits to improvement is already on the path to transformation. Habits are like strands in a cable. Each action you repeat strengthens the structure, making it more unbreakable over time. Small daily choices like waking up early, reading even a single page of a book, exercising for a few minutes, or practicing a skill may seem insignificant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, they form the foundation of your success. On the other hand, neglecting these small disciplines allows bad habits to take root, dragging you down like an anchor. This is why mastering habits isn't just about productivity, it's about defining who you become. Jocko Willink, a former US Navy officer and leadership expert, is a powerful example of this. One of his core habits is waking up at 4:30 a.m. every day to train. To him, this is more than just a fitness routine. It is a daily affirmation of discipline and control. He once told himself, "I cannot sleep in," and reinforced that belief with action, repeating the mantra, "I will build strength and discipline every day." While most people are still asleep, he has already completed his first workout, proving to himself that he is in control of his life. This simple habit has shaped his military career, his leadership skills, and his ability to inspire millions to take ownership of their lives. Now, think about your own habits. Are they leading you toward the person you want to become, or are they reinforcing the limitations you claim to want to escape? The path to self-discipline isn't about grand, dramatic changes. It's about consistency in small things. A person who reads for just 10 minutes a day will finish dozens of books in a year. Someone who saves a small amount of money regularly will eventually build financial security. A person who exercises for 15 minutes daily will transform their health over time. The problem is that we often underestimate small actions because they don't bring immediate results. But success isn't about instant gratification, it's about long-term growth. Many people dream of change but are unwilling to commit to the daily effort it requires. They say, "I'll start next week," or "I don't have time." But the truth is, time is always passing. The question is whether you're using it to build yourself up or letting it slip away. At its core, the journey of building good habits is not just about achieving goals. It is about proving to yourself that you have the power to change. It is the shift from "I can't" to "I will." Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you take one step closer to becoming the person you aspire to be. So, what will you choose? Will you let procrastination dictate your life, or will you commit to action? Every great transformation begins with a single decision. Master yourself, and you will master your future. What habit has made the biggest impact on your life? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how discipline has shaped your journey. 5. Facing your fears. The door to freedom. Fear has a way of holding us back, making even the simplest tasks seem impossible. It disguises itself as procrastination, self-doubt, and hesitation, whispering that failure, judgment, or even success itself is too overwhelming to handle. But what if, instead of avoiding fear, you confronted it head-on? Every time you take a step toward fear rather than away from it, you reclaim control over your life. The Stoics understood this well. Fear is not something to be eliminated, but something to be mastered. As Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of what we fear never actually happens, and even when it does, it is rarely as bad as we expect. The key to overcoming fear is not waiting for courage to arrive, but taking action despite fear's presence. Think about a common fear: public speaking, starting a new career, or putting yourself in a vulnerable situation where failure is possible. The mistake many people make is believing they need to be fearless before they act. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. Instead of diving headfirst into an overwhelming challenge, break it into small, manageable steps. If public speaking terrifies you, don't start with a stage in front of hundreds. Begin by expressing your thoughts clearly in a small group of friends. If you fear failure in a new business, start by learning, planning, and taking small risks before launching into something massive. Progress is built through incremental victories, each one reinforcing your confidence. Success is rarely about talent alone, it's about persistence. Look at J.K. Rowling. Before she became the author of the Harry Potter series, she faced rejection from dozens of publishers. Each rejection could have been an excuse to quit, but instead, she treated every setback as a lesson, another step towards success. Her story is not just about talent, it's about resilience. And that same resilience is available to you. So ask yourself, what fear has been holding you back? Is it fear of looking foolish? Fear of failing? Fear of not being good enough? The reality is, growth only happens when you step outside of comfort. If you let fear dictate your actions, you'll remain trapped in the same patterns, never knowing what you could have achieved. But if you commit to just one small step forward, you start to dismantle fear's hold over you. A person who spends just 10 minutes a day improving a skill will over time become highly proficient. Someone who takes one small step toward their fear daily will soon realize they have nothing left to fear. The secret isn't in waiting for the perfect moment, it's in creating it. Your environment also plays a crucial role. If you surround yourself with distractions, negativity, or people who reinforce fear, progress will be nearly impossible. Instead, design your space and habits to support your growth. Set clear goals, remove distractions, and cultivate habits that push you forward. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. What doesn't transmit light creates its own darkness." Every moment you allow fear to dictate your actions is a moment lost. But every time you choose action over fear, you reclaim your power. So the question is, will you continue to let fear define you, or will you take the first step toward mastering it? 6. Goals, the guiding lighthouse. Everyone wants to become a better version of themselves, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't just talent or luck, it's clarity of purpose and consistent action. Having a goal is like having a lighthouse in the middle of a stormy sea, guiding you forward no matter how rough the waters get. Without direction, even the strongest efforts can feel meaningless. Seneca once said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." In other words, if you don't have a clear goal, nothing will truly help you progress. The question is, do your daily actions align with the future you want to create? Every habit, no matter how small, is either bringing you closer to your goal or pulling you further away. Think about this. How do you start your mornings? Do you spend 30 minutes scrolling through social media, consuming distractions that add nothing to your life? Or do you use that time to build a habit that fuels your growth? The reality is, success isn't built on occasional big efforts, it's built on small, consistent choices made every day. The problem is that most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. They start big, get overwhelmed, and quit. But building powerful habits doesn't require drastic change overnight. It starts with one small, intentional step. Instead of committing to an hour-long workout from day one, Start with 10 minutes of movement each morning. Instead of forcing yourself to read for an hour, begin with 5 pages. These small victories create momentum, proving to yourself that change is possible. The great inventor Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before successfully creating the electric light bulb, but his daily habit of relentless experimentation kept him moving forward. If he had given up after one failure, the world would be a very different place today. Success doesn't come from a single moment of brilliance. It comes from the discipline to show up and try again, no matter how many times you fall. But here's the catch. Consistency is not just about repetition, it's about resilience. There will be days when you don't feel like putting in the effort. There will be moments when self-doubt creeps in, when distractions seem more appealing than progress. This is where true commitment is tested. Waking up 30 minutes earlier to work on your passion may feel insignificant today, but over time, those extra moments add up to something extraordinary. Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps is a perfect example of this. From a young age, his mother encouraged him to practice swimming, and with the support of his coach, he maintained an intense training schedule for years. Even on days when exhaustion weighed on him, he reminded himself that every hour spent in the pool was a step closer to his Olympic dream. His success was not a sudden breakthrough, it was the result of years of disciplined action, proving that greatness is not reserved for the talented, but for the persistent. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your habits. If you surround yourself with people who are driven, motivated, and focused on growth, their energy will push you forward. But if you are constantly in the company of those who make excuses, procrastinate, or settle for mediocrity, it becomes easy to fall into the same patterns. So ask yourself, who do you want to be in 5 years? Are your daily choices aligned with that vision? The truth is, change is never easy. But once you define your destination, every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow. Your goal is your compass, your habits are the steps you take toward it, and every single day is a chance to move forward. No effort is too small, no step is insignificant. What matters is that you start, and that you refuse to stop. 7. The power of environment and positive thinking. Life is an unpredictable journey filled with both challenges and opportunities. Some days everything seems to align perfectly and progress feels effortless. Other days, obstacles appear at every turn, making even the simplest goals seem out of reach. In these moments, your environment and mindset are not just influences, they are the deciding factors in whether you push forward or remain stuck. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. His words remind us that while we cannot always control our circumstances, we have full control over how we respond to them. The difference between someone who thrives and someone who struggles is not just their skills or intelligence, it's the way they choose to see the world and the people they choose to surround themselves with. Think about the last time you set a goal. Maybe you wanted to exercise regularly, learn a new skill, or start a project that mattered to you. At first, motivation was high, but then distractions crept in. If you were surrounded by people who encouraged bad habits, skipping workouts, making excuses, or doubting your ability, how much harder did it become to stay on track? Now imagine the opposite. If you joined a community of like-minded individuals, a group that supported your growth and held you accountable, how much easier would it be to stay committed? The truth is, your environment is constantly shaping your habits, whether you realize it or not. If you want to improve your health, spend time with people who prioritize fitness. If you want to develop a strong mindset, engage with those who challenge and inspire you. Negativity is not just an occasional complaint or a bad day. It is a slow, silent force that erodes confidence, ambition, and self-belief. A single comment from someone can plant a seed of doubt in your mind, and if repeated often enough, that doubt becomes a belief. An environment filled with constant criticism and pessimism can make even the most ambitious person question their potential. This is how procrastination takes hold, not as an active decision, but as a gradual surrender to negativity. But here's the good news. Just as negativity can shape you, so can positivity. A single encouraging conversation can reignite motivation. A supportive environment can transform fear into confidence. A small shift in mindset can turn struggles into opportunities for growth. Take the story of a busy mother juggling work, responsibilities, and raising 3 children. She could view her situation as overwhelming, constantly feeling trapped by her obligations. Or she could choose to see her role as an opportunity to instill values in her children, to find moments of joy in the chaos, and to embrace the challenge as a chance to grow stronger. The situation remains the same, but her mindset determines whether she feels burdened or empowered. The same applies to all of us. The way we frame our challenges defines our experience. Do you see difficulties as proof that you should quit, or as lessons preparing you for success? Do you let your environment drain your energy, or do you actively create an environment that fuels your growth? At the end of the day, success is not just about talent, hard work, or luck. It is about setting yourself up for victory by shaping your surroundings and controlling your thoughts. If you surround yourself with negativity, you will absorb it. If you choose to be around people who push you forward, your growth becomes inevitable. Ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do they inspire you or hold you back? Have you ever experienced the power of a positive shift in mindset? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might be the inspiration someone else needs to change their own life. 8. The value of challenges. Why do you have to step out of your comfort zone? Life presents you with 2 paths. The first is smooth, free of obstacles, and easy to navigate. You reach your destination quickly, but nothing within you changes. The second path is filled with challenges, steep mountains, sharp turns, and moments that test your willpower. Every struggle on this road strengthens you, every failure teaches you, and every setback transforms you into a wiser, more resilient version of yourself. Which path will you choose? The journey matters more than the destination. This is not just a cliché, but a deep truth. Real growth is found in effort, persistence, and the lessons you accumulate along the way. The question is not simply whether you will reach your goal, but how you will get there. Will you face difficulties with courage, or will you retreat when things become difficult? The way you respond to obstacles shapes who you become. Every challenge is a test, a moment where you can either stay in your comfort zone or step into the unknown. The stressful project that pushes you beyond your limits, the heartbreak that teaches you the value of self-respect, the fear of failure that forces you to redefine success. These are not just difficulties to endure, but opportunities to unlock your hidden potential. Have you ever noticed that the most painful experiences often carry the most valuable lessons? Stoic philosophy teaches us to view challenges not as barriers, but as stepping stones. Marcus Aurelius once said, The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that what blocks your path is not meant to stop you, it is meant to forge you into someone stronger. Every mountain you climb does not just bring you closer to your goal, it builds endurance, wisdom, and self-respect within you. Think about any great achievement in history. Whether in business, sports, or personal development, success is never handed to those who avoid difficulty. Take the story of Elon Musk, a man who repeatedly faced failure, nearly going bankrupt with Tesla, struggling to make SpaceX viable, and being ridiculed for his ambitious goals. At any moment, he could have taken the easy route and given up, but instead, he embraced every failure as a lesson, adjusted his approach, and kept moving forward. Now, his vision is shaping the future of technology and space exploration. His story is proof that resilience, not talent alone, is the defining trait of those who leave a mark on the world. But challenges are not just about achieving big dreams, they are about shaping your character. Each time you take action despite fear, you break the cycle of hesitation. Each time you persist, despite hardship, you build discipline. Over time, these small victories define you as a person who does not surrender to adversity but rises above it. The most powerful lessons in life do not come from easy experiences, but from struggles that push you beyond your perceived limits. The journey through challenges reveals who you really are, not someone controlled by fear, but someone capable of overcoming it. This path of growth also teaches you one of life's deepest truths. Success is not about wealth, status, or external achievements. True success is measured by the strength of your spirit, the depth of your wisdom, and your ability to turn struggle into progress. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. All you need is the willingness to take the first step. Because every day that you take action, every difficulty you overcome, you are not just moving toward a goal, you are shaping a life of meaning, purpose, and resilience. So, which path will you choose? The comfortable road that leads nowhere, or the difficult journey that transforms you into someone extraordinary? Your story is yours to write. Make it one of courage, growth, and unwavering determination. 9. Resilience. Turning failure into lessons. Failure is an unavoidable part of life. It comes in many forms: the disappointment of a project that doesn't succeed, the heartbreak of a relationship that falls apart, or the frustration of falling short of a goal you worked tirelessly for. In these moments, it's easy to feel defeated, to believe that setbacks define you. But failure is not the end, it is an invitation to grow. The Stoics understood this well, teaching that what stands in the way can become the way forward. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of failure, but the ability to use failure as fuel for growth. Take the story of Paul, a young engineer with a vision to design a fuel-efficient yet high-performance airplane. For 3 years, he dedicated himself to the project, sacrificing time, energy, and resources. Yet, no matter how hard he worked, every prototype failed. His colleagues dismissed his ideas as unrealistic. His family urged him to find a stable job, and doubt began to creep into his mind. He questioned whether he was wasting his time, whether he was chasing something impossible. But instead of surrendering to failure, Paul shifted his perspective. He stopped seeing setbacks as proof of his limitations and started treating them as lessons. With each failed test, he asked himself, "What is this teaching me?" He refined his designs, corrected his mistakes, and adjusted his approach. After more than 30 failures, Paul finally created a successful prototype, an aircraft that was not only fuel-efficient but also revolutionary, winning international awards and influencing future aviation technology. His success was not built on talent alone, but on resilience, the ability to learn, adapt, and persist despite repeated failure. Now, think about your own life. How do you respond to failure? Do you let it define you, or do you use it to strengthen yourself? Failure is a brutal but honest teacher. It exposes weaknesses, forces you to rethink strategies, and reveals the gaps in your knowledge. But it also builds resilience, shaping a mindset that refuses to break under pressure. The most successful people in history, inventors, athletes, entrepreneurs, all share one common trait: they failed more times than they succeeded. Thomas Edison conducted thousands of failed experiments before creating the light bulb. Michael Jordan missed thousands of shots before becoming a basketball legend. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Their failures did not stop them, they propelled them forward. But resilience is not just about enduring failure, it's about learning from it and using it as a stepping stone towards something greater. Every time you rise after falling, you reinforce your belief in yourself. Every time you push through adversity, you become stronger. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as a sign to quit, view it as feedback, as a necessary part of the process. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? The ability to turn setbacks into growth is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up too soon. This brings us to the final lesson: the power of persistence. Resilience helps you rise after failure, but persistence ensures you keep moving forward. Setbacks will come, and the road to success will never be smooth. But those who keep going despite difficulty, who refuse to let failure break them, are the ones who ultimately reach their goals. So the next time you face failure, remember, it is not a dead end, but a detour guiding you towards something better. Will you let failure stop you, or will you use it to fuel your growth? The choice is yours. 10. The power of consistency, the secret of sustainable success. Success is not the result of a single breakthrough or a moment of inspiration. It is built through persistence, discipline, and the quiet repetition of small efforts over time. The road to any meaningful goal is never smooth. There will be failures, setbacks, and moments when giving up feels easier than pushing forward. But those who achieve greatness are not necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to stop. The Stoics understood this well, teaching that consistency, not instant gratification, is the foundation of mastery. As Seneca wisely said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." And what is preparation if not the ability to show up day after day regardless of circumstances? Think of a builder constructing a house. Each day he lays one brick, carefully placing it with precision. To an outsider, the progress seems slow, almost invisible. But brick by brick, the structure begins to take shape, and eventually it becomes a grand and sturdy home. Success is no different. It does not come from occasional bursts of effort, but from the daily commitment to improvement, no matter how small. One of the greatest examples of this is Eliud Kipchoge, the world-renowned marathon runner who became the first person to complete a marathon in under 2 hours. Many see his record-breaking achievement as extraordinary, but what they don't see are the years of relentless training that led to that moment. Kipchoge started with simple runs on the dusty roads of his Kenyan homeland, training daily with the goal of improving by even the smallest margin. His success was not built on talent alone, but on his unwavering habit of never skipping a training session. Whether in the burning heat or pouring rain, he showed up. Each step, each run, each seemingly insignificant effort accumulated over time until he reached a level of mastery that defied human limits. Now, think about your own goals. How often do you start something with excitement, only to abandon it when progress seems too slow? How many times have you convinced yourself that effort isn't worth it because results aren't immediate? The truth is, consistency rarely provides instant rewards, but it builds something far more valuable: resilience, skill, and a mindset that can endure difficulty. Every great athlete, artist, and entrepreneur will tell you the same thing. Success is not about talent alone, but about showing up when motivation fades. It is the writer who commits to writing a single page every day, the entrepreneur who refines their craft daily, the musician who practices even when inspiration is lacking. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on the process rather than the outcome, to trust that small efforts, when repeated consistently, create significant change. The mistake most people make is expecting immediate gratification, and when they don't see results right away, they quit. But what if you committed to just one small action every day? What if instead of aiming for drastic change overnight, you focused on steady, continuous improvement? Imagine where you could be in a year, 5 years, or a decade. The power of consistency is not in grand, sudden achievements, but in the accumulation of countless small steps. So, ask yourself, are you willing to persist even when progress seems invisible? Are you committed to taking small daily actions that will eventually lead to extraordinary results? Because success, in the end, does not belong to those who start strong, but to those who refuse to stop. The greatest rewards are reserved for those who understand that consistency, no matter how unglamorous, is the ultimate key to lasting success. Will you choose persistence, or will you let another day slip by? The choice is yours. We've uncovered how self-discipline and stepping beyond your comfort zone can shape your mindset, actions, and ultimately your life. True growth begins the moment you challenge yourself, embrace discomfort, and commit to continuous improvement. But knowledge alone isn't enough. Real transformation comes from applying these principles daily. So, what's one challenge that has been holding you back? How will you push yourself to take action starting today? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If this video resonated with you, show your support by hitting like, sharing it with those who need this message, and subscribing for more Stoic wisdom. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Check out the videos on the screen. They're designed to guide you further on your personal growth journey. Your future is shaped by the choices you make today, so take that first step and make it count.